Sunday Showcase, made possible by a public service grant from the National Endowment for the Arts and Bristol Myers Company in association with its divisions.
Yeah. All rise, open your eyes, no need to explain. I got a homie from the east and I'ma tell you his name. Never hang around lames, that's a part of his game. And if you show deep respect, he'll show you the same. Jeff undercard boxing, shook the world when he came. A lot of cats is playing, but his hands are insane. You can get steamrolled if you stand in the way. He a yardie from Flatbush, you cowards his cat puss. We used to feud like Bishop and Q, but he'll fuck you up quick if I give him the cue. From the city of Midwood, the south central part of New York, next to Bensonhurst and Borough Park. If it's a problem, don't even say shit. Just face this when you come across the Bay Bridge. No tolerance for BS or fake kids. Your blood clot crying. Just stop trying. Is Jeff Undercard prepared for the assignment? He bringing a appliance so cowards can't fight it. He might yoke you up if he feels slighted. He's spreading out toxins. It's undercard boxing. Yeah. Mad love and respect to my brother, man. From the motherland, word him up.
What's good? What's good, party people? What's good? Boxing, best year. I'm calling it 2023, the best year of boxing. Uh, what up, Judah Ben? You know, I had to play the intro. I thank you. I salute you. What's good, my G? How are you today? You know, I'll stop on. I'm so excited. Boxing is in a really good place. As you know, we have breaking news. I posted it. And I'm fair to say that it's official. You got Terrence Bud Crawford putting up merch along with the date stating that he's going to fight Errol Spence Jr. July 29th in Las Vegas. You have Errol Spence Jr. selling his own merch, saying he's got the door open, he's knocking, and Bud has finally shook his hand and made the agreement to sign the deal. I don't think you do all these things if the fight is not imminent or going to happen, especially on a date that we've all been talking about. So the date looks official. That's really good for the sport of boxing. If we Once we get this fight in, there's about 2 or 3 more fights that I would like to see. And in my opinion, this is the best year of boxing. Once again, salute to Judah Ben Israel for stopping through, creating the intro. Salute to you. Um, there's also so many fight cards going on that, you know, I guess the big names are the guys people want to see sometimes pushes other fighters to the background, and you know, we don't recognize or celebrate them. But if you're paying attention to the sport of boxing, then you don't like you can really have no days off. You can, if you're really invested in this and spending your time watching, educating yourself, knowing who's up first, who's up next, what's behind, what's after. The sport of boxing, to keep you so busy, man, you'll find yourself not being able to rest. So Joseph Parker had a fight today in Australia. Nikita Tizu, I believe that's Tim Tizu's brother, had a fight today. At 5 a.m. that fight card was going on. 5 a.m. in Australia. Obviously the time difference, but there was a fight. Joshua Parker got a first round knockout. Um, and Tyson Fury said that he's a possible opponent for him. Now, I believe that they're good friends, and you know, Tyson Fury is all about giving, you know, his friends paychecks to get in the ring with him and spar for however long it lasts, and call himself, you know, defending his WBC title. He won't make undisputed. He doesn't get any backlash for it. People just, the business of boxing. Well, it seems that one of the people who was supposed to be carrying the biggest and brightest belt, the WBC belt, is not conducting himself like a champion. And this is what I have to look at as well. His last fight was a voluntary, right? Against Chisora. He voluntarily took that fight. Where's his mandatory fight? And why hasn't the WBC, who is quick to order fights on, let's just say, other athletes, we won't put race into it, on other athletes, how come they haven't ordered a mandatory fight? And I know that they tried to set up a fight between uh, Andy Ruiz and Deontay Wilder. But once those two fights were rejected, shouldn't the number 3 guy and number 4 guy be elevated or moved up or fight some kind of title eliminator to see who's next to fight Tyson Fury? How come he just gets to skate around and hang out with the belt and not defend it, not, you know what I mean? Not fighting over a year for it. But y'all have a problem when Jamal Charlo, who actually hurt himself and has an excuse for being out the ring, is not stepping in there and entertaining us. I would love to see I believe I've been getting word that Isaac Pitbull Cruz and a guy by the name of Giovanni Cabrera will be fighting as the co-main event to Bud versus Spence on July 29th. I thought Boots Ennis would be on that card, but if you have Isaac Pitbull Cruz already penciled in as the co-main event, I don't think Jerron Boots Ennis and his team are going to, make steps back. I don't know. Maybe because it's a pay-per-view fight card, maybe he wants to be on that card. He wants to be on that big stage. Or if he's like, yo, Stephen A., I got my own promotional company. I'm trying to build myself as as a brand. Let's make a fight for me in Atlantic City, close to my hometown where people can get to. You can get there from New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, pretty much the tri-state. And let me start to make Atlantic City my home. And, let me build myself. Let me see how many tickets I can sell. You know what I mean? I think it'd be great for him to do something like that. I would support it. If you get Boots and Frank Martin on a card, or if you get EJ versus Bud, Boots versus Thurman, Frank Martin versus Edwin De Los Santos, I think that would be phenomenal for the sport of boxing. You know what I mean? Just those fights alone is worth the pay-per-view. If Bud is fighting Spence, that leaves Thurman hanging in the wind without a dance partner. We already know that Danny is scheduled to fight Erislandy Lara in August, so he's already penciled in for a fight. Thurman is hanging in the wind once again, left hung out to dry. He's been talking a lot. He says he's been training. Why not? Why not? I think he'd make a fairly good bag fighting Jerron Boots Ennis. It would be for an interim title. If he does beat Jerron Boots Ennis, then he is twice slated to be in the conversation for Spence's belt if Spence decides to stay at 147. Now, Spence has said that after his fight at 147 with Bud, that's going to be his last fight. He's going to go up to 154 and start campaigning there. I'm not sure if he said win or lose. We do know that based on the contractual agreement between Bud and Spence, they do both have a rematch clause, which they can activate 30 days after the fight has concluded. Where both of them can do that. So I assume that we're going to get 2 fights. And if we can get this fight in July, that means at the end of the year, we can possibly get another Spence versus Bud to end 2023. Can you imagine that? Could you imagine getting Spence versus Bud twice within 1 year? And I salute you, Judah Ben, for stopping through. I know you listening probably while at work. Thank you for coming into the chat and kicking it with me, man, while we talk this boxing. What else we got? You have Alexis Rocha versus Anthony Young, the DAZN card this Saturday. You have Okoli versus Smith. You have BT Sports, Michael Conlon versus somebody. Like, I have so much work to do to bring you guys these fight cards, and that's to me is what's exciting about the sport of boxing. That if you're involved and if you're actively trying to grow the sport or to grow yourself, There's things for you to do, things to talk about. There's boxing is moving. There's so much information out there right now. Facts. That'd be dope. Yeah, Bud versus Errol twice. That'd be amazing. What you call it? I'm just listen. Let's get it the first time, and if it does the numbers that we project, they can no longer push the narrative that black fighters don't sell and that they are not good for business. That you need opposite demographics to get in the ring with each other to make boxing happen. We know what Tank and Ryan did. Salute to both of those young men, or to those men for stepping in the ring, giving us a great performance. Um, but if this fight, given with the time frame to push it, to sell it, to market it, this pay per view could do 1 million buys. Million and what did it? What did Ryan do? 1,000,002 buys. Salute to everyone that's listening. Thank you for stopping in. We're just talking boxing, not just the breaking news of Bud versus Spence, which I know we haven't fully confirmed yet. But in my opinion, you do not start selling merchandise for an event that's not going to take place, because that would be very misleading to your fans and to the people supporting you. If you tell me you're going to be somewhere, hey, I'm having a party, I'm going to be at what's a club in New York? I'm going to be at CPAC. You guys probably don't know that because you're not from Brooklyn. I'm going to be at CPAC on this day at this time, and I go, all right, I want to support you. I'm going to buy the ticket. And then you don't pull up, I'm gonna feel like you just like you made me waste my money in sponsoring an event that you never planned on showing up to. So I think that this makes the fight official. That they're both of their websites are selling merchandise, promoting the date, the time, and the opponent. And once we have a press conference kicking it off, I don't know how they fill the undercard. I know that both guys were slated to make six figures in this deal, which sometimes mean that the undercard fights are, lackluster or not the best fight, not the best fight, and the best the meat. It's a lot of not meat and potatoes, a lot of potatoes, because the top guys are garnish so much money that it's hard to spread the rest of the balance on that fight card when you have rest fights that's going to take place during the rest of the year. There's already J Rock versus Adamas fight. There's already, let's see, the fights are being overshadowed now because of this big announcement. Where, oh, excuse me, like it's going to be hard for them to schedule a time to have, say, a press conference, like a media tour, because the boxing world might just, you can't be everywhere and you can't tune into everything. So how hard is it going to be for them to schedule or to set up a time to have, their first press conference, their first face-off? What's going to be said? Who's going to be on the undercard? I would love to see Jamal Charlo versus Mumu Andre on this card. Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus whoever this other guy's name is, Giovanni Cabrera. I don't know if that's a co-main event. I would knock it down several pegs because Pitbull Cruz had an opportunity. Skills from New Orleans. Salute, salute. Of course you're here, brother. You always here. If you're not here physically, you listening to the playback, man. I salute you guys. I appreciate you guys, man. I don't think Pitbull Cruz is worthy of a co-main event. I do know that his promoter, Sean Gibbons, usually pushes and, can put some more money into the pots of both fighters to elevate them on that card. But the way Isaac Pitbull Cruz has been moving, he's not a co-main event kind of guy. He's like prelims. I'm going to be very honest. Ever since the fight with Gervonta Tank Davis, what has he done for the sport of boxing? Tony T, salute, salute. Who that? Robert the Genius, what's up? What up, Robert? Tony T, salute, salute. Yeah, Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Giovanni Cabrera. I don't know if that's a good co-main event. I don't think that, if you're going to pay for a pay-per-view style fight, that those two gentlemen are worthy of being on the pay-per-view selection. They can be on the prelim card, the YouTube portion. All he's did is lose to Javante Tank Davis, and then knocked out an old Gambo, and knocked out a guy that's been knocked out 3 times. Pitbull has, you know what I mean? When the opportunity came to fight Shakur Stevenson, that was his big opportunity to prove to us that not only was, say if he says he beat Tank or he's ready for Tank, wouldn't be the best thing to do was to fight a guy like Shakur Stevenson, an upcoming guy, fresh to the division, hasn't really made his mark yet. I think that would have been a good fight. It would have been a good crossover fight if you think about it. I would have loved to see Pitbull versus Shakur at the Prudential Center. I think that fight would be excited. Think about it. All action. Pitbull puts a lot of pressure. Can Shakur deal with that type of pressure from them big money fights? Undercards be, yeah, that's what I was saying. They don't have much money to pay the rest of the card. And so do you think, Tony T, you think they're gonna put Boots on the undercard, or you think Boots is gonna have his own show? I know if Errol is fighting, that means Frank Martin probably gonna be on that card. Frank Martin versus Edwin De Los Santos, pay per view, would be worthy of the 84.99 price point that they're gonna put on this thing. They might even try to charge 100 just so they can make their money back. I'm excited for the state of boxing. A lot of fight cards happening, fights being made. Listen, if we get David, Bo's got his own joints versus Villa, they said, yeah, I'm excited for that also. Listen, I hope like he comes to Atlantic City, man. Atlantic City has been dormant since the days of Arturo Gotti. Imagine if Boo starts to make that his home away from home. Philly is not too far away because, if you go deep in Philly, you could touch Atlantic City. Going to be somewhere on the East Coast. Oh, so then I'm saying all the right things then. I also spoke to Cornflakes Lamada, and he said it's a possibility that they are discussing that. And I think Boots having his own promotional company, something that we're seeing a lot of fighters now do, where you have Tank and then you have GTD Promotions. You wanna get money twice, honestly. And imagine if you can put your own fighter on that fight card, or when money is generated, you can go, I get a piece. That's big business. So if you guys don't know, Boots has his own promotional company, and he already has one fighter signed. He already had his own show put together. He hosted it himself. His fighter got a first round knockout. You know, just like Errol Spence Jr. has Man Down Promotion, Boots Ennis, 24-year-old IBF interim champ, has his own promotion. So maybe he's going to the likes of Showtime and saying, listen, whatever we're doing, we're going to co-promote it. So maybe he's choosing the location and he's saying, I can provide X, Y, and Z, so that way Showtime doesn't have to sink as much money into necessarily that event to put it on. Boots Flame is burning out. In need of a serious statement, not big enough yet to headline. Skills from New Orleans. All right. I know what I must do. I know what I must do. I got you. I got someone said, what? Drop the link. I don't know. Nope. My bad. Hold on. Um, there you go. There you go. Well, I don't know. He's got 30 fights. He had for until Karen, he was on like a 12 fight knockout streak. Um, Boogeyman of the division. The one everyone who spoke about him has just only been giving him high praise. Floyd Mayweather, Andre Ward. You can't keep the training wheels on forever. I think a Villa versus Boots fight in Atlantic City, all action packed, would be a great headline card for him. You fill it with, I would put Isaac Pitbull Cruz and Giovanni Cabrera on that card because those are two action packed fighters. Someone is going to get knocked out in that fight. Yeah, I dropped the link for Smoke. So me and Skills could talk. It's right there, Skills. It's right there. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Nah, I'm messing with y'all. But if y'all want to come up and chop, I can't talk for that long. there is a lot of information out there. I try my best to, when we're in different chats, to add to certain conversations. Regis does have a new opponent. I'm not sure if people know about that. His name is kind of like Zorilla. I'm not, you know, that's they tried to get Arnold Barbosa to take the fight. Uh, Facts. Villa's perfect for Boots because he gonna come exactly. Not only that, it's an action packed fight, and it's like if Villa is as tough as he appeared, it's kind of like Boots fighting Struggle Matias. You know what I mean? Where it's a matter of how long, how much damage can he sustain until he knocks this dude out, and it's just an all action fight where if you're in attendance, you're gonna enjoy it. If you're watching on TV, you're gonna enjoy it. Like Boots has tasted the likes of a pay per view. Do you necessarily have to put his next fight on pay per view? No. But if he's headlining a pay per view card, I mean a card in Atlantic City, and you put it on Showtime TV, you know, and you can see that he can sell out the arena, sell tickets because Philadelphia is right there. Philly's gonna come out and support this young king. You know what I mean? It makes for him building and crafting his own legacy. You guys think he's not ready? Okay, cool. You also have Stanionis versus Ortiz going to be taking place in July. That fight is back on. Uh, Boots is a great talent. Possibly need to stay busy. I understand. Yeah, but if you notice, the reason they're slowing him down. So what happens is when you're in a contractual agreement with certain companies, they want to get you a belt so they can start marketing you as a champion. So with the likes of Cameron Duncan, one of the guys who's found talents like Terrence Bud Crawford. I believe he discovered like I think maybe Floyd Mayweather. Don't quote me on that, but he's worked with some guys who eventually became world talent level in boxing. When you have him as because that's who is like he's promoted by Cameron Duncan, right? Even though he has his own promotional company, Cameron Duncan is technically his the manager or promoter. What they want to do is get you a belt, and now we can market you like a champion. In the event that Errol Spence Jr. vacates his belt after the fight with Bud Crawford, or say Bud wins and vacates the belt, he will eventually be elevated to full interim champion because if you notice, there was never an interim belt for the IBF. It never was. Like no one ever had an interim. There was an interim WBC, interim WBO, the WBA super and regular. So there's never been an interim IBF belt. So in the event that belt's become vacant, he doesn't have to fight for it. He just gets elevated to full championship status just by being the interim champion. And then now you can start unification fights. But as part of the contract, once you got a guy locked in, what you want to do is get them a belt so that way they can be locked in for more fights moving forward. I believe manager Marty was explaining something like that. You know, they try to tell you that within a certain amount of fights, what they're trying to do is get you a belt or get you ranked high enough to get you a belt. I look at the likes of Raymond Ford, who has been beating top competition, but still hasn't gotten a championship fight yet. But then you got the UK guys just throwing the belt around between one another. I lose it, I get it back. I lose it, I get it back. Lara versus Wood, I believe, is this weekend also. We all saw how that fight ended, but Eddie Hearn, the king of rematches, is going to run that fight back again. Do we expect a different outcome? I don't. But now we got to sit through and watch it. Katie Taylor versus Chantel Cameroon. Katie just lost. The first thing we're going to rematch it. Well, we're going to rematch it at the lower weight so we can now fight for Katie's belt instead of Chantel's belt. So you lose at 40, and you're going to have a rematch at 135, and you're going to put Katie's belt on the line. So does that mean whoever wants to fight Chantel at 140 has to wait their turn to get a shot at her titles? Because if it's a rematch now, let's see, they fought last week. What do you say? Another 3 months before they get into the ring again and fight? What's that put them out for the year? Before the year's over, they'll have two Katie Taylor fights, and then that's it. Where no one in the ranking system got an opportunity to fight for those 140 belts. That's not fair to boxing. It's not fair to the people who are waiting in line. Shadeja Green has to wait now until Savannah Marshall fights Franchon Cruz. That fights in June. June? Yeah, June on the Eubanks versus Smith undercard. They're the co-main event to that fight in the UK. But say Savannah win another rematch. Smith just beat Eubanks, and we another few months later, then we have a rematch. Does anyone think it's going to end differently than it already did? I don't know. But yo, click the link, man. Come up and chat to me. I just wanted to talk some boxing. I think this fight's official. Get your tickets, get your hotel. Merchandise is already being sold. I got my Big Fish shirt, $75. Errol Spence, you gonna owe me $1 because it was first 64, and then he's gonna charge me 2 day shipping fee. So I guess I'll have it before the weekend or something like that because I paid for it. Yeah, I'm supporting the Big Fish. He's Jamaican born, so I got to go with my brethren. And I don't know, boxing has hit that. It's hit that note, and it just keeps on like, excuse me, going up and up and up and up. And I hope that guys in the back pussyfooting around about taking and making big fights or just making a fight in general decide like, yo, you know what? I'm willing to risk it. I'm willing to, bet it all. Not at all, but I'm willing to put it on the line to show everyone that I'm still the best. And yeah, I'm talking about Canelo Alvarez. If we get Canelo versus David Benavidez, Mike Biggs, boxing, salute to the OG. UAB, that's right. Undercard and boxing. Woo! I got to get that on the drop somehow. Thank you, Mike Biggs, for pulling up. Keys to the game. Salute my guy, Keon. What's up, Keon? Yo, listen, if Wu fights in Atlantic City, man, I better see you, front row. What you call it? What I was talking about? Yeah, so like, just some fights is coming up. June 10th, T.O. Taylor, big fight card. You got the Floyd Mayweather exhibition. Boxing it's just like it's starting to take off, and I'm very at the beginning of the year when Tank had his fight. I think it was like put that card together. I think was a great blend of I must see this fight card. I gotta pay this money because it's stacked from top to bottom. Even excuse me, the fights that were on the prelims or undercard, not shown on TV. It was worth watching. You had Lamont Peterson tried to return to the ring. He lost. Or was it Anthony Peterson? One of them. But the way Tank Davidson set the tone for the year of boxing, and then you look back to where we are now and what's going on, lets you know like boxing is. I don't know. It feels like if it's a vibration, it's vibrating at another level right now. I'm at the bar sipping some Henny and Coke. Nice. Listen, I'm driving home, so I just wanted to chop with y'all while I was in this Manhattan traffic heading into Jersey. I was just trying to, talk my 2 cents. If anyone wanted to come up, they come up. But I'm gonna be jumping off in a little bit. It looks like it's official to me. Without Steven Espinosa, without Errol Spence didn't say that in a tweet or something like that. But you don't start selling merchandise for a fight that's not happening. So to me, that makes the fight official. I'm glad you're sipping on something like Biggs. I'm gonna head home. I'm probably gonna go, drink some old fashioned or some bourbon. Boxing is on up. Yes. Clarissa Shields. Savannah Marshall, women's boxing, Alicia Baumgardner rematching the only girl she lost to for all her belts. The girl who was supposed to fight Mikkel Mayer, but they found some weird reason to tell her she can't fight when she's had permanent contacts all her life and has never been an issue. All of a sudden, she tries to fight on I think it was a UK card, and they tell her like that's not allowed. It's my eyes. What am I seeing? X-ray vision? Like I'm gonna see the punches coming and know that to get out the way. What type of foolishness they doing? But for her to rematch the only girl she lost to, yeah, she's a little old in the teeth, but that says something. If you lose to someone and you don't rematch them, it says something about your character. Like Loma, chicken talk. What up though? What up? Simply outbox Bud won't be good enough. Errol will have to dig deep pull this one off. Bud Tank Wilder can outclass them out of nowhere. The great equalizer appears. All right, skills from New Orleans. Give me one fight from Bud where he one punch knocked out somebody, and don't say David Avocado. I'll wait, because Bud, just like David Benavidez, is not a one punch knockout artist. What he does is he hurts you, and then he rushes you, and then the judge or the referee stops the fight. Same thing with Porter. Porter got him both times he knocked him down. Jose Benavidez, that lovely clip that everyone likes to show, where he clipped him and he fell down. Well, salute, salute. Oh, the big dogs is in here tonight. I got chicken talk in the building. Yeah, he's never one punch knocked out nobody, bro. He does like he's a great counter puncher and he can crack, but he's never flatlined nobody ever. Gamboa, he didn't flatline. He threw him on the floor. What do you put him down like 3 times? Now Tank and Wilder, yes, they have the great equalizer. You touch him, sleep. Bud doesn't have that. But Bud is skilled. Bud is a great fighter. Bud, if you are flipping, he will touch and put you down. But he's not going to put you to sleep. Now, Errol, it's like a more destructive kind of fighting that he does. He wants to batter and bruise you. Like, I don't think he cares about knocking you out anymore. I think he's like, him and Derrick James have just built up this violence. Like, yo, I want you to go and put whatever you've been working through or you upset about into that man's body. Keys to the game. Salute. Salute. But ain't got no equal. Hey, I'm telling them. See how some skills from New Orleans ain't answer the question? Oh, hold on. Here we go. Respectfully, my argument is not based on one punch. Acumen, Brooke, Gamboa, Porter. Brooks quit in the corner on a body shot. Cut it out. My man sat there. It was like, all right, I got paid, right? The check's in. All right, I'm out. All right. I already discussed Gamboa and Porter. His pops throwing the towel. You forget Sean Porter was having a whole conversation with him after? Hey, man. Oh, man. I should have never punched the floor 16 times. But listen, he does have the great equalizer being a world-class counter puncher. But to say, because I hear people saying like he's going to knock Errol Spence out. Errol Spence ain't David Avocado. I'm sorry, David Avanesian. I'm just my bad. That's on me. I don't disrespect fighters. Once you've gotten stepped through the rings, where's the super chat? I can't drop a blue. Not yet, bro. I'm not official yet. The Cash App is floating on the top though. You know the Cash App equals KO minus one punch. Records. I have Errol, but I can't count Bud out. I got you still from it. Right. What exactly? Yo, doesn't it make sense to talk up both fighters, give them an equal opportunity to bless us with a great fight by giving them like pretty much their just due, or like the word I'm trying to use is if we big up and support both these guys and say it's going to be a great fight, then more people are willing to chime in. Like there was a lot of people who I did not know were boxing fans, but when Ryan and Tank were fighting, was asking me questions, and I was like, "Oh, you like boxing? Yeah, I like boxing." I'm like, didn't know that, but it piqued the interest of what you call it, of enough people that they wanted to. I'm not arguing with you. I'm just cautious about saying it's a given. Oh, it's definitely not a given. It's definitely not. It's a 50-50 fight. Anyone that says it, Bud hasn't stopped any top opponent at 147. Porter couldn't Yeah, it could have continued. I believe so too. That's true. You know, I wish the WBO when they ordered these fights, it would be against like the number one ranked contender and not like up and down the list of fighters. Bud is a great fighter, but I don't see him doing anything that will offset EJ's defense. EJ is a fundamental, and Bud capitalized off of other people's mistakes. Yeah. Now, T. Wells, do you think the rush of being out the ring for this amount of time can play a factor? Because when he fought Ugas, the first couple of rounds, you saw like not he was anxious. Was that the word anxious? Is that the right word to use? Like he was anxious in trying to fight him. Like he was like over punching or overextending himself. Like there was a lot of times where he'll throw something and be out of position. And then once he eased into the fight and once like he got his rhythm going, then it was like the destructive beatdown that we all saw. Definitely not a walk for respect. Oh, definitely not. I mean, if it was a walk, then we wouldn't care as much about the fight. We wouldn't give the fight as much of attention if we could in our minds pick the winners. I think what's going on is how do like we're each trying to see how the fight plays out in our mind, so that way everybody wants to be right. Man, I want to put in a bet for $25 and say he gonna get knocked out in the ninth, and we're 500 and we're 500K just because I bet the round right. You know what I mean? So that's the fun part about boxing is the unknown and the fact that each and every one of us is going to have their opinions about how it takes place, how it goes down. And if we think Bud is so weak and he somewhat beats Earl, what does that say about Spence? Uh, well, I think we're giving Spence the credit for chasing down the man who has that last belt, and he wants to be undisputed. Spence was definitely eager to get going against. Yeah, correct. And I wonder if that's ring rust because he hasn't been in the ring since April, and now it's a full turn of the clock. Bud has the same amount of rust. He basically fought a sparring partner. LOL. Bud starts off slow, so that off only works in EJ's favor. Yeah, I wonder, but probably because he was inactive. Yeah, there's a lot of factors that play into that, and we're gonna see which fighter is prepared to go, 12 rounds, hard punching, hurting each other to the body, uh, giving us a masterclass performance. Like this is going to solidify our love for boxing because of how these two go out and perform. You know, 2023 is the year of we're going to start saying making all the big fights. You know, we got Tank versus Ryan. We're getting Spence versus Bud. Let's get David Benavidez versus Canelo, or David Benavidez versus David Morrell, something that I've heard whispered about in September. And we're just going to continue to enjoy boxing. I salute to you guys for popping up, spending the evening with me. I was just driving home and decided to talk some boxing. Time to get in the crib, kiss on the wife, see the kids. Salute to everyone. I'll see y'all in the morning. Undercard and boxing, signing out.